the trust piece really annoyed me for such a long time in my spiritual journey because I was like, but how do I do that? How do I just trust? It's literally just letting go of everything that's holding you back and going when there is no direction. Spirit is your guide. If you don't have the finances or the person that resonates with you, just connecting to your team every day, that'll be your guide and they will help align things for you.
Hello, my loves, and welcome to Create Your Life. My name is Simone Leah, and I am your host. And I am so excited to be here with you guys today because today I had the absolute pleasure of interviewing Sharna Teresa, who is an energy healer and divine channel, and she is phenomenal. So Sharna was born in the 2000s and I am born in the 80s. And what I really wanted to talk to her today about is the new wave of entrepreneurs that are coming through who are spiritually embodied, practically embodied, and creatively embodied. She is the epitome of an embodied, spiritual, feminine young woman who is out there making amazing content on social media. She's still practical, she's still living her life, she's still getting things done. She's also an artist. Like, she's just such a phenomenal young woman. And I know for me, growing up in the 80s, talking about spirituality was just seen as something that, it was crazy, it was woo-woo, whereas she's living this. She's a living, embodied version of herself. She's not holding anything back. And so I really wanted to talk to her today because I thought it would be such a groundbreaking and phenomenal conversation for all of you to hear what it's like for her. I feel like this podcast attracts people generally in their 30s and 40s who might be that little bit older. So hearing from someone who is in their 20s and is just such an embodiment of their own mission, yeah, it was just amazing. So we talked all things about her journey, how she kind of became embodied, the pieces that fell into place for her, which included obviously doing the healing, but a lot of trust and a lot of surrender to what she was being guided to do. She was honoring herself in the process. If she needed to cry, she cried. She would connect with her guides. She would do healings on herself. And now she's this beautiful embodied channel that she can literally, perform healings on people and connect with source daily and, live her life, create content, channel beautiful artworks. She's a phenomenal artist. And so this conversation was amazing. And from this conversation, you're going to hear how she stepped into that embodiment. You're going to hear what she would recommend for you if you wanted to get to that same place of embodiment. And also, you're going to hear that the journey is not as scary or as hard or as long as you probably think it will be. A lot of the times people think they have to go on this really deep, hard journey where they're going to cry all the time and, it's going to be horrible. It's going to take years to sort through their stuff. And she's just the complete picture of the opposite of that. Yes, she's gone through some hard things. She shares her story. I was blown away. But the way she's come out of it with so much grace and elegance and openness and then full embodiment is it's beautiful. So you guys will love this interview. You will love her. You will love her energy. I highly recommend you guys go and follow her on social media. She has a beautiful social media account and she's a phenomenal human. Like, she is going places. She is such a phenomenal soul. And so, yeah, this interview was amazing and I really hope you guys enjoy it. Hello, my loves, and welcome to Create Your Life. My name is Simone Leah, and I am your host. And I am so excited to be here today because today I have the absolute pleasure of interviewing Sharna Teresa, who is an energy healer and divine channel. And this is going to be a phenomenal interview. This interview is on the new wave of entrepreneurs, the entrepreneurs and the new energy healers who are spiritually embodied, they're practically embodied, and they're creative. So I am so excited to jump into this. So thank you so much for being here today, Sharna.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm just like, oh my God. So, just a little backstory for everybody at home. I was born in the 80s and Shana was born in the 2000s. And so, like, for me, I just look at Shana and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I've been seeing spirit and dead people since before I was 5, but I had to keep that quiet. Like in my world, even just I used to do a lot of singing. You guys know this. I used to do a lot of singing, and that wasn't considered a real job. So talking about spirituality as part of my everyday life was no deal. But Shana, on the other hand, is a phenomenal energy healer and channel. She's also an amazing artist with these beautiful artworks. And then she's also obviously practical. Like she's obviously doing the thing, guys. Like she's actually getting out there and producing the content and putting herself out there. So, like for me, this new wave of spiritual entrepreneurs are just so embodied. And Shana to me is like the I don't know, the brightest and most beautiful glowing example of that I could find for you guys. So I'm excited to jump in, and I probably should stop backstorying and just start with, what does creating a life you love look like to you, Shana?
Thank you so much for that amazing intro. I love that. It really made me feel good. So, creating a life that I love looks like freedom. Freedom to express, freedom to do the things that I love. And that means helping other people as well. My dream is to help others awaken and to develop their gifts. And I do that through everything I offer, whether it's just creating content, whether it's working one-on-one with people. That is what my dream life looks like. Just helping others.
Oh, I love that. That is so beautiful. It's such a beautiful soul mission. I feel very much like a lot of the time when people look at my soul, they're like, all I see is just this ball of love. And from you, I just really feel so much love. Like there's just so much collective warmth and love energy in you. Like it's so beautiful. So,
Thank you.
yeah, so I love that. I love that your mission is just to lift the planet, just to help people awaken and yeah, create their own lives, which is amazing. Um, so diving into this, when did you first get into spirituality? How did all of this come about?
Unfortunately, it's not a super love and light story. I did have a bit of a hard time growing up. So, from the ages of 5 to 12, my step grandfather was sexually abusing me. So, that was a lot to deal with. And even though it was something really terrible to go through, that was how I discovered spirituality. It was looking for healing where I found it. So my grandma, not on that side of the family, gifted me some crystals and little worry dolls when I finally told somebody about what was going on. And that was kind of like the hook for me to get into it. So I was like, wow, these are really cute. They have a little special meaning. What else is there? So I collected more crystals, I found tarot cards, I found the angels because I feel like that's a super safe option for people when they're first getting in because they're pure love and light. And I really gravitated towards Archangel Michael. And there was one night I was alone in my room and I was just sitting there. I was like, okay, if all this stuff is real, I want you to come and touch my hand and prove to me it's real. And I was sitting there, my eyes were closed, and I was just waiting. And I actually felt him come and touch my hand. And to be honest, it freaked me out. I was like, okay, it's really real. Like there was this disbelief, but also like this greater knowing. And that was my, okay, this is real. What else is out there? So I discovered gods and goddesses. I worked with some Greek ones, which felt really cool. Still work with Apollo, which is one of my guides. Archangel Michael, I still work with as well. And I was really bad at meditating for ages because I had so much going on in my head. So it wasn't until I found an energy healer that I was able to clear this stuff out. But at each session, I had my light language start coming on. And I think it was about the fourth or fifth session, she was like, you need to find someone to teach you because every time I heal you, you're healing me at the same time. I can't teach you. Please find someone because you are natural. So I went looking, I found Channeling Spirit Academy with Athena Bailey. So I did that, but that didn't really teach me the healing stuff, but it did teach me how to channel energy and guides, which was super cool. Gave me the direction that I needed and really turned on my gifts. And then I found light codes. So I did that in January of 2024. Then I went to do light codes 2 and got fully activated in my light language. I was only doing hand signs at the beginning, so then I could fully speak it and sing it, which was super cool. And actually know what I'm doing with my hands because I could always feel energy around crystals, but I didn't really know what to do. So now I can like open portals, clear stuff, code things, and it's just so incredible.
Wow, is all I can say. Oh my goodness. I did not know that was your story. You are just like, there is just no heaviness in you whatsoever. Like, I would never have guessed. So, thank you for being so open and brave to share all of that. Like, obviously, yeah, really, really appreciate hearing all of that. And
All
then all
right.
the spiritual stuff. Like, wow, like, so cool. I love that that's how it started. And then here you are, and you're like, as you said, you're channeling things and you're opening portals, and I just love it.
Yeah.
I love
It's
it.
it's so incredible. Like at the beginning of January, I wouldn't see anything in meditations or while I was healing. And now I'm having these crazy experiences, seeing aliens, seeing people's guides, seeing energy. And I didn't think that was something I could do. Like I thought it was just a natural gift someone had that I couldn't do. But the more I practiced and the more I did it, the more it unlocked, which is so cool.
I love this. I would love to hear how is that affecting your actual life? Like how is when you're not actually in a healing session, what's going on for you? Like, are you just like walking along the street and there's a dead person or
Fortunately not. It's a lot. I used to see a lot of beings around just in the house. I would hear them as well, especially when I go to bed. They like to chatter. It's like, okay, your defenses are down. We could actually talk to you. I'm like, I'm trying to sleep, and then just it's just all this nonsense kind of chatter. But I purposely like just filter it out so I can do my daily stuff because I still have a full-time job at the moment. Otherwise, it'd be pretty hectic.
Yes, it would be crazy. I know for me, like I very much, I know, I think during the time of COVID, everyone was so locked down that it was such a peaceful, peaceful time for me because I was just like meditating and chilling out and doing my thing, like speaking to my guides and living my life, and it was great. But then after COVID, if I'd go into a busy place, I'd literally be like, oh, someone over there has a sore shoulder, and oh my gosh, that person over there's got a headache, and this person over here's got a stomach problem. And I was downloading and feeling everyone's stuff. And it got to that point where I was like, all right, I've got to work with energy in a way where it's not actually affecting me, where I can kind of become like bamboo, and filter out what's like me, be solid and just move with whatever's coming up. So is that kind of how you found it? Because I think for me already, I was pretty good at keeping the filters there, but because with COVID we were so everyone was so isolated that I really, really, really noticed it when when COVID kind of like finished and we were back in people again. And so like for me, I was like, I've gone from nothing to 100, and I was really, really like open. So I don't know, is that kind of how you found it for the last year as your gifts were growing and then you're like, oh wait, I'm there's a few too many things going on here?
For me, no, because it's not something I've naturally been able to do. It's something I've really worked on developing, that I have that ability to just switch it on and off. Like if I have usually it's like a sense someone needs something, it's in my field. I'll be like, okay, what's going on? Tune in, see, feel, or hear what's going on, and then do a little thing, whatever they need, and then turn it back off again.
Oh, I love that. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
you've just kind of been like, guys, if you need me, this is the sign. And if you don't need me, I'm out.
Yeah, yeah. It's really, I guess, what would the word be? There's a bit of give and take. Yeah, it's super consensual. That's the word I'm looking for.
Okay. From both sides. I love that.
Yeah.
And how have you felt it with, like, even with your clients? Because I know we're talking about the real world. How have you felt it with your clients? What sort of changes have you seen in your way of being with clients from back at the beginning to now?
Ooh, amazing. Oh, I've had a few clients, not really many people come back for second sessions because they have such an insane transformation, which has been really cool. The first ever person I did that was like out of my family, out of my friend zone, um, she has just gone off and been so connected. She literally took all of my advice, actioned it, and everything we cleared led her to be able to do all these amazing things. She's launched a incredible new program. And when I first met her, she was also like really small voice. I had to like it was a whisper. I couldn't understand her. I had to ask her to repeat herself a lot. Same as me. I was the same in January. But since that healing session, she has so much more confidence. She's so connected, and it's amazing. We have done some like coaching sessions, but we haven't really done healings together. But everything is just so like it just lands so easily and quickly when we're both in this flow. It's so incredible. And I feel like the people that I have seen a few times, every session that we have together is just next level. Like we thought the session before was like the best. And then we have the next one, and it's like, oh my God. My mind is blown. We just do incredible things. It's this real, I guess it's not just me doing things. It's like we're both in flow. Cool. Bit
Ah,
different.
I love that. It's like a real co-creation.
Yeah. It's amazing. And just the visuals, I think is the best. So just be full trust in the beginning because it was just like fully just feeling having the visuals now is so much confirmation and so much reassurance of like what I'm actually doing is working. Because before it's just like trust, trust, trust. And now it's so cool.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah, when you say that, because I know you say that at the start of the year you were a lot quieter and a lot, I don't know, smaller in yourself. Whereas when I look at you now, I see someone who's confident and fully embodied. And I guess the missing piece of that is trust. Like that is the trust that you've developed over the last 12 months in yourself and the universe.
Yes, 100%. And the biggest piece was clearing the doubt to allow that trust to come in, which that was the biggest shift I've ever seen, ever. As soon as I cleared that doubt and I allowed that trust to come through, it was like a switch had been set off. And I just literally woke up the next day so confident and so much louder and more express. It was amazing.
I love that. And I know people at home are going to be like, oh my goodness, how do I develop that trust? Like, what do I do? Did you do that
Mm,
yourself? Like, did you just light language yourself or something? Or how did you?
yeah. So I did a womb clearing around that because as a woman, naturally we saw things in our womb, and that's where all that was sitting. And even if you're a man, in a past life, you were probably a woman, you have an energetic womb that's probably carrying some things that you need to clear. And literally, that was the biggest shift I've ever done, clearing that womb space. Ah. I can't even put it into words.
I love that. I love that. I never would have guessed that doing a womb clearing would be what unlocked it. Like, and now
Yeah.
even with what you said about masculine and feminine energy, which is a topic that I'm really, really into, even saying how men would energetically have a womb, and straight away I'm like, oh my gosh, that means there's probably stuff that I need to clear from being a man that I haven't even thought about, like, in past lives and things.
Yeah. Oh, past lives are so cool. They not only hold all this stuff you need to clear, but they also hold gifts as well. And I feel like a lot of people forget about the gifts that they have in their past lives because we can pull them in and integrate them now. And I feel like that's also some threads I've been pulling for that confidence piece.
I
Hmm.
love this. I've got so many questions, but I would love to know how much healing and time are you spending on your own development? Like, are you kind of doing like a healing on yourself every day or once a week or like, because like, yeah, if
Yeah.
you're just there pulling in threads every day, like, like I'd be curious to know.
I do meditation every day, if not twice or three times a day, depending on how much I go on. But when I sit down and do like a process, it's probably about once a week. So I'll actually go in and do a healing, but every other time it's just aligning my chakras, connecting to the earth, connecting to the divine, and seeing what kind of unfolds because it's not going to be the same every time. Hmm, what else do I do? Yeah. Oh, I also talk to my guides. See if they've got things.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I will, because, okay, I would love to know because I know you said you're working full time. Um, what does a day look like for you? Because if you're there meditating 2 or 3 times a day and talking to your guides and working in your business and working like on business things, how are you fitting all like the other job? How are you actually fitting all of this in?
This is a great question.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, yeah, at the beginning, it was a big struggle. Now I've got a bit of flexibility and I can work from home, which I'm doing today. I can literally press pause on what I'm doing and then pick it up when I'm done, whatever it is, whether it's a healing, whether it's this, whether it's coaching, which is so amazing. I'm so grateful that the universe aligned that for me. But when I'm actually in the workplace, I work with my partner, so he'll drive me to work, which is amazing. And sometimes in the car, I'll be like, okay, I'm just going to take 10 minutes. I'm going to meditate. If I'm driving to work by myself, I'll get there early, sit in the car, 10 minutes. Every hour, I do a parasympathetic breathing technique. So I breathe in for 4, out for 8. So I'm keeping my energy clear and high and expanded, which is great. And then when I get home, I'll have another 10 to do my meditation. Then after that, I get things done for my business. And then when I feel hungry, I'll just listen to my body. I'll make something, then I'll have a shower, brush my teeth, do all the normal chores around the house, and then I'll go to bed, do some more meditation.
I love this. I love this because I guess the thing
Yeah.
is like, do you get up at 5 a.m. just to meditate? But you're just like, nope, I've got 10 minutes before work. I'm going to do it. That's going to put me in a good mindset. Every hour I'm going to calm my, system down. Like, all of this is just so, it's the embodiment piece. This is the thing. This is the reason why I wanted to talk to you. It's this complete embodiment that I love. And I also, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to talk about the partner, but I also want to talk about, like, resistance, and I'm like, there's so many things.
Mhm.
How is this? Have you been with your partner since before this journey started?
Yes.
How has that been? I'm so curious.
So we've actually been together for 5 years. It's
Oh,
really exciting. Yeah, we met when I was really deep in my wounds, which was pretty intense for both of us. And he's always been such this beautiful support and really grounding energy as well throughout this. He's not really open to the spiritual stuff. It's something that is a big initiation for him. He's really getting into aliens at the moment, which is super cool. So it's big for him. But yeah, because I've gone through this huge dramatic shift since January. There was a lot of fear around losing him, but also like friends and family. So that's been a bit of a theme, and which has been keeping me in the play it safe, keep small box. But I find the more that I push past that limit and I do allow myself to be expressed and I push past things that make me want to cry because I'm very emotional and I actually do them and like stick to it, that the result I get from that, people see the shift in me and can really appreciate where I've come from if they've known me for some time. Or, yeah, I feel like I've kind of gone on a tangent there.
no, I love this because like my neck, I wanted to know how you found it resistance wise in terms of like, obviously, when I was a bit younger, like talking about spirituality, guides, ghosts, or you just couldn't do it. And so, yeah, my next question was, how have you found that? And so for me, like I'm listening to you and I'm like, is the resistance that you were feeling coming from yourself or coming from them? Because very much when I was growing up, the resistance was from the outside world. But when you said that, then it sounded more like you were the resistance. Like you're like, I'm scared to open up. So I'd love to hear how you found that.
Yeah, it's definitely been all internal. I haven't really come across that much judgment, to be honest. There's been a few like online trolls, but I don't know them. It doesn't really matter. So it literally has been mostly internal, and that's is that internal battle because it's really easy to let your ego win because it's trying to protect you, keep you in the same routine. But when you push past it, literally everyone now is so much more open, and I guess there's more curiosity around it too. And I feel like people who don't understand that I am friends with come to me with like a few questions, like, how's your business going? And I like tell them all these things, and they're like, wow, okay, there's actually something going on there.
I love this. I love it. And like also because you are so embodied, I feel like this is just who you are. Like I know you say you are feeling those internal things of I don't want to do this, kind of like I don't know, I'm a bit afraid, but you're doing it anyway. And
Yeah.
that's what I think is so amazing. It's like this full embodiment of, okay, I'm a little bit afraid. Okay, I'm going to put it out there that I do light language and speak to spirit, but you're doing it anyway. Like, how does that even happen? Like, has it just been a journey for you that you've just evolved and just gone with the evolution? Or has there been conscious decisions along the way of, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. Like, has it been a natural embodiment or a conscious embodiment? I don't know how that sounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it's definitely been more conscious. Like literally the first time I went to post a video, I cried for an hour beforehand because I had all this fear of judgment. But having a coach is really good because there's this, what is the word? Not responsibility, but what is that word? Accountability. Okay. So having a coach gives you so much accountability because that was a task I was set to do. I didn't want to fail Nat because that would have felt really bad. So I I put it off for a little while and then it got to the point where I was asked the second time to do it. I was like, okay, I'll film it. It took me so long, but then I posted it. And after I did that very first one, it's been so much easier. It was just getting over that first fear that allowed everything else to flow. And there was a lot of work I had to do around like clearing fear of judgment, clearing abandonment as well. That was a big one. And also feeling safe to share my gifts as well.
I would love to know if someone is like, because as I said, there's different, I hate saying generations, but my generation was very, very much like we had to hide stuff about ourselves. Like, unless you were really, like, you were going to get judged. Like, it's how it was going to happen, which is totally fine. And like, I've just always done my own thing. So it wasn't a huge thing for me. But for you, like, you're looking now, you're, in your 20s. If someone was going to come to you and say, hey, look, I want to go down a similar path to you, what kind of advice would you give them? Because you know, I don't know, you're like, I don't know, you're just so embodied, you're so self-aware. We're having conversations about spirit guides, masculine and feminine energy, but at the same time, like, you're still in touch with humanity. Like, you've got a full-time job, you're creative and in the arts, and your art is amazing and it's huge. Like, you do beautiful, beautiful stuff. If someone was going to come to you and they say, I'm so inspired by you, how do I go along this journey on my own? Like, what do I do?
Mm. I oh, Having a coach has been really amazing because even though my coach is really business focused, the transformation side of that and what the work she does has been the biggest piece I've gotten out of coaching. Having that support and also accountability has been really amazing. But if you don't have the finances to do that, and I didn't a couple years ago when I really started getting into it, it would be to meditate every day. Even if you use guided meditations, I find they were super beneficial in the start because I didn't really know how to meditate. Having someone to guide me through the process was amazing. And then eventually I was just able to let go of the guided meditation, just put some frequency music on and use the general structure. Because I feel like everyone has this generic structure that they follow in their meditations, ground your energy down, connect up to the divine, open your heart. That's how I start all my meditations because it's so simple and so quick. And after that, you just go wherever you like. You could go to a beautiful garden, you could go to space, you could go to a realm of gods and goddesses, fairies, whatever. But just connecting to something outside of yourself every day is going to be your guide. Spirit is your guide. If you don't have the finances or the person that resonates with you, just connecting to your team every day, that'll be your guide and they will help align things for you.
And I love that answer. Like, I absolutely love it. If you were that person who's like, okay, yep, I can do this, how do I trust what I'm seeing?
Ah, that's a great question. You literally just have to shove your ego to the side, and just allow it to come through. There's no real answer for that. It's just, okay, this is happening. This is real. My favorite quote ever is from the Becoming Supernatural book by Joe Dispenza. And he's super factual. And I'm someone who loves facts because at the beginning, I wasn't into spiritual stuff. I was very factual, very science-based. So the brain can't differentiate between what's happening internally in your mind and what's happening externally in your 3D world. So when you go within, what you're seeing is real. Even if you're making it up, your imagination is the key to being able to see. Because without it, you'll just be seeing nothing. So just allowing whatever to come through to be is all you need to do.
I love that. That is the most beautiful answer. And I also love because you're so feminine in a beautiful way. Like you're like this feminine being of light. And I love that you're also like, but I needed to know the science.
No, 100%. Because that was what I grew up with. Like my family was raised as atheists. We knew nothing about God or any other religion. So I just grew up knowing the world was created with the Big Bang. You do life and then you die. That's all I grew up knowing. So having the science to explain everything was amazing because I didn't have the knowledge of what else was out there. So that was my safety net. And then once I discovered spirituality, the more time that's gone on, the more science has backed spirituality, which is incredible. And I love it because as someone who I guess didn't grow up with that, I need that structure and security. And also, this is real. This is like my evidence.
Yeah. But I love like that you're like, this is real, this is my evidence, but you're also so in your feminine,
Hmm.
because
And
a
that was a
lot,
big game to play.
yeah, like because a lot of the time when we're like drawn to the sciences and stuff like that, it's a more structured, it's a more masculine energy. And so I love
Mm.
that even though you're like, I know all this, I'm equally spiritual as I am factual, but I'm embodied in my feminine. Which is just,
Mm.
I just think that's so amazing. And I also, because we're going to run out of time, but I could keep talking forever. I want to ask about your art. Is your art channeled or is it like,
Yes. So I've grown up being an artist all my life. So go figure that that's my assignment and my soul mission. I just didn't even consider it. But because I've grown up doing it, I practice for so long. Like I do realistic portraits. So being able to go from seeing something and translating it into a drawing and then going from fully channeling, it has been a big challenge as well because I didn't know what I was doing. And I just had to trust whatever's come through. So there was a clearing around things not looking perfect and also just being. It doesn't have to be anything, it just has to be. So there was a lot of work I had to do around that to be able to actually let it come through. Yeah.
I'm just loving that, like, the whole theme for me for this conversation has just, like, I'm like, I want to know how she's so embodied. And it just is all around, for me, all I'm hearing is trust. You know,
Yeah.
you're like, trust my guides, trust myself, trust what's coming through. And I'm like, this is like the coolest. Like that's the number one tip, you guys at home, is just start to take the steps in trusting yourself and listening to your own wisdom, your own guidance, your own guides, your own voices, your own soul. Like this is how you end up being beautifully embodied like Sharna, is just by listening and developing that trust and leaning in. And that journey could go for 10 years, it could go for 12 months, but like you've done roughly a 12-month journey and you're so embodied. Like it doesn't need to take 30 years to develop being an embodied human. You're like embodied inside of 12 months. Like I don't even know when you became embodied, like, but you know what I mean? It's not like it's
Yeah.
some horrible journey that's like a battle uphill where it's like, I'm going to trust myself if it kills you. It's not like that. Like, it sounds like you've just been in such an ease and flow and leaning in, even when stuff's a bit scary or when you just want to cry. Like, it's just been this trust that you're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, and the ugh, the trust piece really annoyed me for such a long time in my spiritual journey because I was like, but how do I do that? How do I just trust? It's literally just letting go of everything that's holding you back and going when there is no direction. That has been the biggest piece for me.
Yeah. Just keep moving forward. You don't have to see the
Yeah,
whole mountain. Just take the next
yeah,
step and see.
yes.
I love that. So if someone is at the start of their spiritual journey, and they do want to become an embodied being, what are three tips you could kind of give them to help them along their way?
Amazing. Mm. Use the internet because literally, if you have a question, there is an answer out there. It doesn't have to be a question, it can be a process, it can be an activation, it can be a clearing. Use Spotify, YouTube, look up what it is you want to work on, and there will be something. So that is the biggest one. My favorite, I guess, creators are activations with JJ on YouTube. She's really cool. She's got heaps of light language activations, but also Athena Bailey's Ascension School on Spotify. I think that's also on YouTube too. There's processes, but there's also like incredible pieces around spiritual development that you can listen to, and it's really inspiring. So use the internet, find someone that resonates as well, because not everything's going to work for you. Is follow your channel as well. My next one would be to again connect every single day, whether it's just to your body. Doing a body scan is really amazing. Checking in with your chakras, see how they're doing, or going up into spirit and seeing what is in store for you. Calling in and talking to your team every day. It doesn't have to be sitting in meditation as well. It can be just while you're driving. Hey, Spirit, how are you? Good morning. What's going on? What have you been doing? Just talk to them like they're your friend. Another one is whenever I'm feeling like really low, doing a gratitude rant and doing it for 5 minutes. Because I feel like at the start, you're like, oh, okay, I'm grateful for the trees. I'm grateful for waking up today. But then the more you go into it, the more you're like, oh, I'm grateful for my yummy smoothie this morning. I'm grateful for seeing the beautiful sky and the sunset yesterday. Like the more you stick to something, I think the easier it gets and the more it uplifts you. And what is another one? Hmm. Hmm. Ah, if something makes you want to cry, makes you want to crawl in a little ball and hide away from everyone, just do it. Push past that, break past the glass ceiling that you're putting on yourself, and just do it because after you do it, it's going to be so easy. And the more you put yourself down and put yourself in that box, the harder it's going to be. And literally, the first step is just breaking through your own barriers.
I literally love that because when we were at the very start and I asked you about creating your life, you said freedom. And one of the big things for me is like allowing yourself that freedom to feel what's coming up. So I love that you're like, if you want to cry, just feel it. Like if, like I just think that's such a beautiful gift that more people need to hear. So I literally love that that was one of the things you mentioned, but I loved the whole list. Like the whole list was amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely uh, just crying is so therapeutic and has been such a gift on my journey because when you cry, you're releasing. So allow yourself to cry, allow yourself to feel the frustration, allow yourself to feel scared, and then breathe, reset your nervous system. and do it again.
Oh, I love that. I literally love that. I remember back like years ago, and to get an end result for someone, so say they wanted to, like, I don't know, they've got some sort of end result in mind. It might take 30 weeks of sessions, right? Of 1 hour sessions to
Mhm.
do it. Now, those shifts are happening like that. And I think that
Mhm.
what people don't realize now is if you're crying and you just set the intention of, I just want to let this go and let it out, that will shift it. Like you don't need to like,
Yeah.
hold on to things anymore, because the energy and the density of the earth has shifted so dramatically, even in the last 4 to 5 years, that just honoring yourself and allowing yourself to cry is so healing. Like it's just such a healing thing, and you can just cry it out and let it go. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. No worries. And I feel like the more you allow yourself to do it, the quicker you do move through stuff. It's something I've definitely noticed. Like at the beginning of the year, if something wasn't going well for me, I would move through it for weeks. But now it's like, okay, I'll have my cry and I'm done. It's so
Oh,
good.
I love that. It's like you just do your thing and then you're good.
Yeah. Yeah. It works. It works so good.
Love it. I love that we're having this chat. I'm big on crying. I'm just big on expressing. Like I'm big on expressing. And that is the
Yeah.
important thing of just expressing yourself. And obviously that's why you're
Mm.
here, because you're so embodied in expression. You're so embodied with everything you do in channeling, connecting and healing, but also in your heart, like in your heart. I love that I said that. In your art, you're so embodied as well. And then it's just, yeah, like you're just so self-expressed in a beautiful, beautiful way. I was going to ask you what recommended resources you would recommend, but I feel like you've answered that already. So I would love to know, where can people find you if they want to follow you and connect with
Yay.
you?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok and also Spotify. Started my own little podcast thing. It's going okay. But you can find me, my username is Sharna Teresa on all of them. I'm not really on Facebook. I feel like I'm a bit too young for it. But yeah,
I love
I'm on
that.
those.
Do you want to tell us what the podcast is about? We'd all love to hear. I know.
Yes. I'm actually in the process of updating and rebranding because I feel like I've done so many shifts. It needs a new look, needs a new feel. So it's going to be called the Quantum Awakening. So cool. It's currently Quantum Codes, but Quantum Awakening. But I do guided meditations, light language activations, and I just talk about spiritual stuff as well. It's really cool. And eventually I might start doing interviews because it's been so fun.
I love that. Thank you. I'm so glad to hear. And now I'm like, oh, now I want to talk for a whole nother hour about quantum, like the quantum realm and the 5D and activations. And I'm like, oh, now I want to go on a whole nother session. Like, because like I think that's so cool. Like that the 5D and the quantum, I think are just the way we're going. It's the new vibration. It's the new earth. And
Yeah.
so now I'm like, oh, I want to talk about that too. But we'll do another episode. But thank
Yes,
you so much
that's
for being here.
no worries. It's been so incredible. Thank you for getting me out of my comfort zone, doing my first ever interview. It's been so fun.
No, it's been amazing. You're amazing. And I'm just so like your openness and your willingness to just share and go to all the places that came up is just, yeah, so beautiful. So everybody follow Shana. She's amazing. She's definitely one to be watched. She's definitely going places. Her social media is phenomenal. And yeah, it's like been such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much. I can't wait till our next interview together 'cause I'm sure we'll do a few.
Yes. Yay. Thank you.
Thank you.